The divine bliss, which is the source of all happiness, is related to its knowledge that was revealed in its original form by the supreme divine power, Krishna, during his miraculous appearance in this world. That was the Gita, the origin of all the spiritual isms and the knowledge of all the knowledges, which has now been further simplified by His Divinity Swami Prakashanand Saraswati, the foremost disciple of Jagadguru Sri Kripaluji Maharaj, who is the supreme divine descension of this age. The Gita is not only a philosophy, it is a promise of God.
Ananyāścintayantō māṁ ye janāః paryupāsate teshāṁ nityābhiyuktānaṁ yoga kshemam vahamyaham.
It tells to merge all the spiritual formalities into the exclusiveness of loving devotion to the supreme form of God, and you will receive His vision.
Chitram Vande Tat Prema Vandhanam Yadavadham Muktidam Muktam Brahma Krida Mrigi Kritam Namaha Kamalana Namaha Kamalamaline Namaha Kamalapandaya Namaste Kamale The Divine Souls. In the last meeting, I described the philosophies of Jagadgurus, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya, and Nimbarkacharya. In a very brief, I described just the outline of their philosophy. Shankaracharya gave a different view of soul and God's unity. Other Jagadgurus, they gave a very compromised, similar view that God is God and souls are uncountable. Souls are separate, God is separate, but soul can find God. The question is, why Shankaracharya contradicted? What was the reason? He was also a descended divine personality, and all the divine personalities, their minds are governed directly by God. So how could he make such a big mistake that others had to contradict it? Actually, he did not make any mistake. He revealed a truth. The truth is, there are two kinds of people in the world who desire God. The one who are extremely desiring God. I just want God, nothing else I want. There are some of that kind also. And there are many who desire God, they have some attachment in the world. Means they are 50-50, you can say. Some in the world, yet desiring God, but just a few, those who have extremely desire God, mumuksha he calls. So, for those people he revealed the Advaita Path, Advaita Bhash, the monism philosophy. So in his philosophy he explains that soul is God, means is a style of telling that, oh, soul, if you are desiring God so extremely, so eagerly, that you don't care of anything in the world, so just think you and God, that's all. Nothing else, nothing wrong. He calls it mumuksha, तीव्र मुमुक्षा, तीव्र, अत्यंत vairagya. So he explains, when he started to explain Brahma Sutra, in the very first verse, Athato Brahma Jigyasa, he explained this factor, that this explanation is for that class of people who is extremely desiring God and extremely renounced from the world. So for such a person, if he is that keen for finding God, he does not want any other further explanation or anything, he just wants God, that's all. And then further he explains in other books that he also has to do some meditation, some practice, some conception of soul and God unity. He has a process. Anyway, so for such people he described the non-dualistic philosophy. So in this way he saved himself from the blame. That's for that class of people. Okay, so for those unqualified intellectuals, means unqualified for the path, yet intellectuals, because they are intellectuals. Because he mentioned at the very beginning, this is not the path for general public. It's only for exclusive people. Come in that class, follow the path. Don't come in the class, then what to do? Then follow bhakti. He explained both. So when he finished writing explanation on the Vedanta Sutra, he wrote another book that's called Prabodh Sudhakar. In that book he reveals the secret of bhakti to Krishna, devotion to Krishna, for those who are in the world yet desiring Krishna and Krishna love. So whatever he wrote in Bhashya, in the explanation, he himself contradicted. Satya vibhedapagame nath tavaham namamakinastvam samudro hi tarangaha kvachan samudro na tarangaha. He gives the example. He says just like ripples in a pond or waves in ocean. So waves are not ocean. They are uncountable waves rising in the ocean. Just an example. Oh Krishna, Satya Vibhedapagame. It's true that the curtain of Maya between you and me is finished. Between soul and God, what is there? A curtain, a veil. Veil of Maya. When that veil is broken, God and soul, they become one. They are already one, but the veil is broken, they experience the bliss of God. So he says, oh my dear Krishna, there's no veil between you and me. Satya Bhedapagame, apagame, finished. Yet, there is a great difference. Tavaham, I am yours, O Krishna. Tavaham, Na mamaki nastvam. I am yours. I am from you. You are not from me. In this, he is revealing a very deep secret of the divine realm. Very deep secret. He says, Tavaham namamiki nastam. Because of you, I exist. Because of Krishna, soul exists. Because Krishna is the soul of the soul. Tasya idam shariram. So like your body is live because of your soul. So what gives life to the soul? Oh Krishna, you. You give life to my soul. Without you, I am nothing. I means soul is nothing. Soul cannot exist without the grace of Krishna. So with Krishna, Krishna association, soul is life. So tavaham namamaki nasta. So in half a verse he described the complete philosophy of soul and God. So for those who were desiring Krishna realization, ordinary souls who were attached in the world, yet desiring God, for such souls he explained, you do bhakti. And bhakti of who? He describes precisely. Like he said, precisely for those extremely renounced people. They don't want anything from the world. Just soul and God, nothing else, forget everything. So for other people who desire God yet have some attachment, he says, for worship Krishna. Very specific. Doesn't say worship God. God could be of many forms. He says, no, worship Krishna. Shuddhidhinantaratma Krishna padam bhoja bhakti mrate. He says, without the devotion to Krishna, your heart cannot be completely purified. You need heart purification. Your heart is impure. It has to be purified. And there is only one way. Worship Krishna. Remember Krishna. Think of Krishna. And be with Krishna. So he was very specific, very straightforward, and very precise in his writings. His first writing was for those renounced people, jnanis and yogis, and second statement was for bhaktas, or ordinary people who were in between world and God. So in this way, later version of his statement clarifies the whole situation. And that book is called Prabodh Sudhakar. Prabodh means he gave knowledge in the first writing of his bhashya, and Prabodh means a superior knowledge, a knowledge and a superior knowledge. He gave knowledge first. He is giving now superior knowledge in Prabodh Sudhakar and telling Krishna is your beloved and worship him. And for the rest of his lifetime, he also did Krishna devotion to show that I am also doing Krishna devotion. You should also do. Bhagavati tavati re nirmatra shanoham vigata vishaya trishna Krishna maradhyami. He says, oh Bhagavati Gange, I wish to reside near you, O Ganges river, drinking the water only, absorbed in Krishna love. I want to spend the rest of my lifetime in Krishna devotion. So in this way, he explained everything in his lifetime. But actually what happens, as he himself explained, those who are unqualified for that particular path, they take it intellectually, and just indulge in intellect. So he left them to indulge in the intellect. Then Jiva Goswami, I mentioned that also yesterday, that Jiva Goswami wrote his philosophy Achinta Bheda Bhedavad, and his book is called Shad Sandarbha. He wrote 6 volumes. Tattva Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha, Bhagavad Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha, Krishna Sandarbha, Preeti Sandarbha. 6 volumes. The first 3 volumes relate to the philosophy of soul, God, Maya. The second 3 volumes relate to devotion, Krishna, Krishna love, divine love. 6 volumes, they explain the whole thing in great detail. But you see, in those 6 volumes, he also had to quote Shankaracharya, other acharyas, whatever they have said, and how it contradicts from each other. It's a big discussion. However, the gist of his writing is, as he explains in his own Achinta Bheda Bhedavad term, means Bhed Abhed. Just take the term. There is a Bhed, duality. There is Abhed, non-duality. He says this Maya, cosmic power, that is a fact, is the power of God. Fine. Is a lifeless power, mindless power, but evolves with the association of Krishna. That's it. They all have said the same thing, all Jagat Gurus. Now comes the question of soul and God. Soul and God, they are different and not different. In many ways, he has a great detail. For instance, souls are uncountable. Souls belong to Chida Shakti of Krishna. There is Chida Shakti different than personal Chida Shakti of Krishna. There are great details. Krishna's personal power is such the Ananda Shakti. They are all details. But take the two aspect, dual and non-dual. He says, whatever it is, achintya, it cannot be conceived intellectually. It cannot be intellectually understood because there is no example to explain that thing. Say, for instance, there is a sutra, Brahma Sutra, and Shankaracharya says on that sutra, Ansho Nana Vivadeshat. Shankaracharya says the explanation on that sutra, just like fire, yes, a great fire. And from that great fire, some sparks fly out. So soul is like a spark of the great, huge fire. A spark, when it flies out, it finishes. But fire is fire. So there is a difference, a spark and a big fire, big difference. But the burning quality of the fire also is fiery, and the fire also is fiery. Both have burning quality. So qualitatively they are same, and individually they are different. Soul is like a fraction, it's like a drop of the ocean. When somebody hears this, he says, oh, yes, I understand now. No, you don't understand. You understood the example. The example is partially correct. only partly correct. It's not fully correct. It's like water, a drop of the ocean. Substantially, drop and ocean, they are same. But drop could be dirty. Ocean cannot be made dirty. Ocean is ocean. That is a very extensive, and drop is just a drop. But it's not the fact actually in the true sense. Soul is not the actual part of Krishna's personal power. If it was that, soul would never have been miserable or bereft of divine love. Because a part, just like a fraction of a nectar, is also nectar. It's like nectar. A mythological term, you can say, nectar. If you drink a drop of nectar, you live forever. So if such is a nectar, a drop of nectar, you drink a drop of nectar, I would drink glasses of nectar every day, same effect, you live forever. So a drop is also the same as ocean, effect-wise. If it is the same, God, his fraction is also the same, because there cannot be a fraction of the unlimited. Fraction could be of the limited, not of the unlimited. So unlimited is always unlimited. There cannot be any fraction. So in this way, if soul is like a drop of the ocean, it should not be miserable, because the same drop. But soul is miserable. So it's not the fact, the example is not correct, of drop and ocean, or a spark and a big fire. So he says, achinte. Don't try to indulge your brain unnecessarily. Just think of something tangible, solid, worth doing, not worth wasting. You are wasting time in intellectuality. Do something. And what is do something? Think of God. That's it. So instead of doing devotion, people indulge in intellectuality. That has to be avoided. So he says, achinte. Whatever it is beyond conception. You cannot imagine it. You cannot think of it. That situation is beyond your understanding. However, there is both. Because if soul was entirely different from God, it could never have reached God in any way. But we have seen that souls reach God and become like God. There is some similarity. Bhogmatra samyalingacha. You see, two different power does not meet together absolutely, unless they are very similar. So there is some similarity between God and soul. So when soul is pure, and a pure soul meets God, he experiences the same bliss God experiences in the abode. So there is something common, something very common that makes both together and absolutely one, like Vallabhacharya's statement, pure monism. But again, there is something which makes the soul entirely separate, because soul is separate from uncountable years, uncountable lifetimes. You can't imagine. You see 10, 100, 1,000, million, 10 million, billion, trillion. Keep on saying that if you go beyond million, you fail to imagine what is a billion, what is a trillion. Only you say the words. Then what is uncountable? Millions and millions and millions and millions and millions, and we keep on saying for your whole lifetime. it is still a limited, not unlimited. So uncountable means uncountable, unlimited. From that many lifetimes we are in this world. Why? Only one reason, that we tried our intellect. We tried our intellect. We have to subside our intellectuality. That's what Gita says. Subside the intellectuality and come to reality. So, in 700 verses, Gita explains the whole philosophy, which is just essential for you to explain the path to God realization, not to indulge in the words. So, what actually Gita says about soul and God and Maya, I'll explain in the next speech. We'll do chanting. राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 गोविंद गोविंद राधे राधे गोविंद गोविंद राधे 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 राधे